Social Zoom Factor, episode 227.
Driving results in business these days takes something special. It's a combination of the right info and the right energy. Pam Moore has both and is here to help you avoid the pitfalls and guide your business and life by leveraging and integrating social media, powerful branding, and digital marketing. Welcome to Social Zoom Factor. Now it's time to live life zoomed.
Are you ready to take your new idea to fruition? One of the first things you need to do is get your business online. Our partner HostGator can take you from zero to turbo fast. Download their Get Online the Easy Way ebook and receive a coupon code for 30% off any new hosting package. Simply visit socialzoomfactor.com/HostGatorEasy or simply text HostGator to 33444. The Marketing Nuts Agency helps companies transform their social and digital business from the inside out. Visit their website at www.themarketingnutswithaz.com for a client list, case studies, and some amazing free resources to get you started down the path of success. Hey there, Zoomers, and welcome to Social Zoom Factor. This is your host, Pam Moore. All right, today we are talking about personal branding. What is personal branding? I encourage you to check out some of my past episodes that I have done on kind of personal branding 101, and I will make sure that I link to those episodes on the show notes page for this episode at socialzoomfactor.com/227 because this is episode 227. Today, though, we are talking about branding goals for your personal brand. Okay. Why do you need to brand yourself? We're going to talk about 7 reasons, 7 goals that you may have to build up your personal brand. And when we talk about personal branding, the first thing you need to understand is that you are your brand. And I have a question for you. Have you thought about your personal branding strategy? Do you have a strategy for your personal brand? Think about that for a second. Okay, so now if you're sitting on standing on the treadmill, maybe running, maybe you've stopped by now, or you're in your car and you're scratching your head, you're saying, well, no, I haven't really put together my personal branding strategy, so I don't have a personal brand. Wrong. Okay. Regardless, if you've even thought about your personal brand strategy, you have a personal brand because you are your brand. Everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you like, everything that you comment on Facebook, everything that you tweet, everything that you retweet, everything that you share, everything you do, even the way you drive impacts your personal brand. The way you treat others at the grocery store, the way you treat others at the gym, the way you treat the people in your neighborhood private Facebook group. Regardless where you are, what you're doing, who you're speaking with, who you're not speaking with, those are all behaviors that drive your personal brand. So you might as well think about it. You might as well take some time to establish your personal brand for the right reasons, right? And we're going to be rolling out a ton of resources, information, and training on this also in our upcoming launch of Social Profit Factor, a comprehensive training platform. I encourage you to go check that out, socialprofitfactor.com. And you can be an early founding member and get some great deals. But today we're talking about personal branding goals. Okay. We're going to talk about 7 goals. And so my thought with this podcast today is even if you were brand new to personal branding and you're thinking, Pam, why do I need to worry about my personal brand? That these 7 goals are going to help you understand some of the benefits of why you need to build your personal brand and really put some thought into it. Also, if you have already put some effort into your personal brand, and maybe you've created the pretty pictures and you have your profiles updated on the social web and you've done what you think is quote unquote all the right things, but you aren't seeing results, which I know a ton of you are in this situation, I want you to take a step back today and think about, why am I doing what I'm doing? Okay, so every minute that you spend on the social web, is that the best time for you to spend? Are you getting where you need to get? Are you solving your own problems that you need to solve? Are you spending time with the right people? Right? You become those top 5 to 10 people that you hang out with, right? So are you hanging out in the right circles on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram? Are you hanging out with the right people online and offline? Okay. What are your goals? And so you need to know, I always say, plan your work and work your plan. Everything we do in business and life, we need to know, why are we doing that? So let's talk about these 7 personal branding goals. Now, brand awareness is a top goal. So regardless of if you are just starting out or if you've been in business a long time, or maybe you're known in your community, the key is to be known, right? And I have a good friend, Mark Schaefer, who has an upcoming book. It's all about being known. And I had a heart-to-heart conversation with him a few weeks ago. I was at his beautiful house in Tennessee, and he lives on the water. It was just a lovely, lovely evening. I was there in Knoxville with the client, one of our clients, Redken, working with some of their salons. And, Mark and I had a deep conversation around personal branding, because I agree with him in that the word personal branding tends to confuse people a lot. And they're like, I don't need to really build my personal brand. That sounds too narcissistic. And I love that Mark uses the terms be known, because that's really what it is. When we talk about brand awareness, it's about being known. Okay. So we want people to know who we are. And we want them to know that we exist. That's what brand awareness is. They know we exist. They know why we exist. They know that we have services that possibly can help them. They at least know we're there, which leads us to number 2, which is thought leadership or authority. And I've talked about this in some past episodes that I'll link to in the show notes page, but thought leadership is where we are establishing trust. Okay. We want our audiences to trust us. We want them to know that we have authority. We want to build authority in an industry. We want to be that go-to person. And regardless what kind of business you manage or you're working in, you want to be that go-to person. Okay. So think about your local community, your local neighborhood. You likely have a local Facebook page, Facebook group that's private for your local community. Okay. Some of those groups may have 100 people. I'm in some local Facebook groups that have 10,000 people. Okay. Isn't it a great goal to be known as a go-to person for whatever it is that you are offering, service or product in your local market, right? That's a great first goal. If you're a small business, or if you are conducting training or education as a person and you don't have a large business, you want to be known as a person. You've got to build your personal brand. As a business, your building out your personal brand can also help you grow your business, because people buy from people. Right? So I know, and I've talked about this in the past. Let's say you see the Twitter profiles and you'll see Facebook profiles, and they'll say like, my tweets are my own. Okay. So they're saying whatever I say has nothing to do with the company that I work for. Wrong. Okay. If I know that you work for a certain company and I see you driving down the road, flipping the bird to people, which we have one lady in our neighborhood that does that actually owns a limousine company. Am I going to call her for limousine services? No, right? I know she works for that company or she owns that company. If I know you work for a specific company, just because you put my tweets are my own on your Twitter profile, does that make you not associated with that company? No, I know you're associated with that company, and everything you say or do is influencing my thoughts on that company. And it takes far more brand impressions to fix a negative impression than it does a positive one, right? So the stats are just out the roof with it, where it takes like 15 brand touches to fix what is a negative brand touch. So it could be one employee that is talking smack on Facebook or on Twitter, even in a private group, even if they have their CEO or their executive blocked and they can't see them. What you're doing in your own personal groups and your own personal networks is affecting the company you work for, and it's affecting your personal brand. Right. And people will come to me all the time. We do a lot of strategic consulting with executives and leaders and all sorts of people in business. And they'll say, Pam, I have 3 personalities. We see this a lot with salespeople. Okay, so I have this life from when I was married. I have this life at work, and I have this life that I go out and party on Saturday nights. So if you are wanting to establish thought leadership, you are wanting to establish authority, you are wanting to be a go-to person that people trust, you better figure out who you are, right? It's not a Facebook problem you have. It is a personal identity problem that you have. And you need to figure out who you are. You are only one person. You are who you are. So be that person. And everything you're doing online, as I said, is impacting you. I encourage you to go download. I have a white paper that has 105 behaviors that are impacting your personal and business brand online. Go to socialzoomfactor.com/digitalme. And I encourage you to download that and take a look at it. Because if you are wanting to establish thought leadership, if you are wanting to establish authority, you are wanting to be a trusted advisor, you need to earn that trust. And you need to make sure that every like, every click, every share, everything that you're doing online is positively impacting your brand as you can. Goal number 3 would be increasing leads. Okay. As you start to build your brand, people buy from people. You are going to see a lot more leads come into your business. So example, online, mypammarketingnut.com blog and site, we used to get a ton more leads on that than we do the marketingnuts.com. Now it's almost equal, but there's still more that come in from Pam Marketing Nut. Why is that? It's because people buy from people, right? And so when you're wanting to establish a brand, a lot of times it's a great way to increase leads by making sure that you are humanizing your brand and connecting with people in a human way, and doing that by building up your personal brand. Goal number 4 is also increasing sales. So along with increased leads comes increased sales, right? So when you have more leads coming in, you're going to have increased sales. As you build your personal brand, as you are building authority, as you are building thought leadership, as you're becoming that go-to person and you have that increased brand awareness, you are known for what you do, more people are going to want to do business with you, right? They're going to come to you and say, Pam, how can we do business together? So oftentimes the leads we get and we have gotten the last few years, it's not, should I do business with you? 90% of the time, it's how are we going to do business together, right? It's more a question of how are we going to make this deal work? How can I utilize your services? Now we've talked about 4 branding goals. We have 3 more to talk about. Next one is going to be about decreasing that sales cycle, making those sales close quicker. But before we move into those, please give your attention to our sponsors who make this podcast go Zoom, and I will be right back. The new year brings a time for evaluation, reflection, and planning. As an entrepreneur, you know your product, your target market, and how you are going to differentiate from competition to achieve success. One thing that often gets forgotten, though, is the online foundation. Do you have the right digital foundation to build a structurally sound business, or are you building on sand and hoping it will hold? Successful businesses are built on steady ground. You need a blueprint for success, curb appeal, and security. Our partner HostGator can help you do this and more. Download their Business Builder Kit, inclusive of 9 steps for planning your website, 10 mistakes to avoid on your homepage, and 3 easy steps to protect your website from hackers. Simply go to socialzoomfactor.com/HostGatorBiz or text HostGatorBiz to 33444. Again, that is socialzoomfactor.com/HostGatorBiz or text HostGatorBiz to 33444. I'm back. Okay. Personal branding goal number 5 is decreasing sales cycle. So this is a magical, my friends. As you earn trust, as you build authority, as you're building thought leadership, as you're becoming more known, as you have more leads, you're that go-to person, you are going to be able to close in on the time it takes to close a deal. Okay. So if you have a 6-month, 3-month sales cycle and you start to build authority with your personal brand, people know you're that go-to person. The amount of time that it takes for you to close that sale, for you to close that deal starts to decrease tremendously. And before we took the break, I was telling you about how when our leads come to us, they're not asking, should I do business with you? They're saying, how can I do business with you? How can we make that work? And when a potential client comes to you and they're already thinking about how they want to put a deal together, you aren't selling to them as much. You aren't having to sell and say, this is why you need me. Like, we never have leads that we sell. Our agency, we do not pitch, right? We work with brands from tiny business all the way up to enterprise business, and we do not pitch. I do not show up with a deck. I do not have to sell. Our clients come to us and say, how can we do business together? Or I would like to hire you to do ABC. Okay. When you build authority, when you do these things that I'm talking about and you build trust and you earn trust, you're going to have more sales, and the sales you get are going to be easier to close. That's an awesome goal, don't you think? Number 6 is you can connect with influencers. And I've talked a lot about this in past episodes. I encourage you to go back to some of my past episodes, and I'll make sure to link to them in the show notes page if you are new to influencer marketing. But influencer marketing is a great way for you to reach your target audience quicker. Okay, so let's say you've built out your blog, you've built out some of your social profiles, maybe you're doing some Facebook Live. And the most previous episode, we talked about ways that a small business can utilize Facebook Live. Go check that one out. But whatever you're doing, okay, you're utilizing the social technologies, and you're like, why aren't people viewing my videos, Pam? Why aren't people reading my blog? Why aren't people opting in like crazy to my email list and downloading all these awesome resources that I have developed? Well, the truth is it has moved to a pay to play social and digital world. So you're either going to need to pay for media to get traffic to your blog, to get your content on Facebook in front of people, or another way you can do that a lot more quickly is to build an influencer marketing strategy. And when you do this, then you are connecting with other leaders in your industry, and you're going to be able to move that social needle, that business needle in the right direction a lot faster. Okay. And why does this relate to personal branding? Because when you build authority, when you build trust, when you become that go-to person, other influencers in your industry are going to want to work with you. So when you reach out to them and you say, hey, Johnny, I'd love to have you join me on my Facebook Live. I'd love to do an interview with you on how you do whatever it is you do. So how do you service your customers? How do you use this specific software tool? You know, what are the methodologies you're using? And that influencer usually has goals that are similar to the things we're talking about here. They want to increase brand awareness. They want to increase authority. They are probably already a go-to person, right? They want more sales. They want more leads. And when they see you as an influencer, when they see that you have invested in your personal brand, they are going to be more likely to want to work with you. And every day we get tons of emails and contact forms where people are saying, hey, will you come on to this podcast, or will you come on to, do a contribution to this blog? The first thing we do is we go look up that business and oftentimes that person, right? So if it's a person that's wanting me to be on their podcast or to do whatever, we will go look them up. And I try to help people out even if they're launching. But if we're in a busy cycle, busy season, we will often look and say, okay, also, what am I going to get out of doing this? And it's a lot easier to justify getting on a specific platform and contributing time when that person already has an audience because it's all about the OPC, right? It's other people's content, other people's community, not to be confused with OPP, you know me, you know that song. So I did an episode on this in the past too. I encourage you to go check it out on how to tap into the power of other people's content and other people's community. But there is power in connecting with influencers in your industry. And by building your personal brand, you're going to be able to do that a lot easier than you can without it. And last but not least, number 7 is community and tribe building. All right. People don't just buy things, they join things. And we are bigger than me. So by working together as community, we are able to do a lot more together, right? So that's why even with our podcast from day one, our goal was always about doing things bigger together than we do as one, right? That's why I include sponsors in this. That's why we include the content that we're doing here with our Get Real Chat community, for example. Our Get Real Chat is every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time out on Twitter. That is going to start to transform in early January into also a live video show that we'll be doing on those days. So it's about the power of community. As you build your personal brand, you are able to then reach out to other influencers in your industry. You're able to get sponsorship on your platforms. You're able to better monetize things that you're doing. You're able to bring powerful people together to do amazing things, right? The power of a tribe, there's nothing that compares to it. When you have people that are there to support you and you are there to support them, both as personal humans as well as businesses. I mean, there's nothing you can't do together. So there you have it in a nutshell. I gave you 7 personal branding goals. Hopefully you are inspired to focus or refocus more on building out your personal brand as you come into the new year. Okay. I want you to think about how can you better build out your personal brand? How can you own your digital, your online, and your offline brand to really help ignite your business? And I encourage you to check out a white paper we have at socialzoomfactor.com/personal brand. And it includes 10 reasons personal branding is a requirement, not an option. And if you it's great also for leadership in your company or others in your company or in people, maybe partners you're working with. If you are wanting to get them on board with building out their personal brands or being in support of you building out your personal brand, it is a great resource to share with them to help get them on board with why you need to do this. So thank you so much for joining today. I know your time is limited. That's a wrap.
If you're ready to zoom your business and zoom your life, then don't let the end of this episode be the end of your journey. Visit socialzoomfactor.com/zoom for incredible free resources and guides. And be sure to join the Social Zoom Factor mailing list so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time on Social Zoom Factor.